You are live.
What does the world look like to someone who is visually impaired? Yes, tell us all what you see. What do you see? What do you see? Tell us what is right, what is wrong, what is art, what is vision. We welcome you to A Blind Guy's View.
Yes, we are live with a brand new intro. Hey folks, how did you like it? Made by yours truly. It's kind of artsy fartsy, a little creepy, right up my alley. So there it is. We are doing something a little special this time. Going to do a live stream of whether or not should you watch The Burbs from 1989. Sorry, I got really itchy all of a sudden while I went live stream. That intro must have made me think of headlights or something. The Burbs from 1989, starring Tom Hanks, Carrie Fisher, Bruce Dern, Corey Feldman, and directed by Joe Dante. And this is an interesting one for me. And I'm doing this, dedicating this to some of my family, Terry and Sandy, because I told them they should watch The Burbs. And I thought, well, if I think they should watch it, I should do a should you watch and tell you guys why I think you should watch The Burbs. So burying the lead there, I told you should watch it, but why should you watch it? And the reason this one's interesting is because the Burbs is not critically acclaimed at all. It was fairly maligned when it came out. It still is not highly regarded by critics, but for some reason this movie is fun. It's just that fun. It is a fun movie to watch, and for some reason I can't put my finger really on it. It's just one that I think everybody should watch, and it's got a cult following now, and I think it deserves it. So it came out in 1989, and it kind of follows the same vein as a lot of those dark 1980s comedies like Gremlins, which same director, so that makes sense. Maybe Joe versus the Volcano, things like that, where there's just something about them that's just a little off, but it's in a likable way. And so the movie centers around Tom Hanks's character, who is just an everyday guy who's on vacation. It's summertime. He lives in the suburbs, hence the name. And he has decided that he doesn't want to go on vacation. He wants to just, for a change, stay home for vacation. And he gets to watching his neighbors, and his neighbors across the street is played by Bruce Dern. Mr. Rumsfeld, Corey Feldman lives across the street. And you start getting used to where everybody lives in this movie and everything. And then he starts realizing that his neighbors on the right side of his house, he never sees them. And their garbage piles up, their mail piles up, and the other neighbors disappeared. And so it's almost got kind of a rear window thing going on there, where he starts suspecting that these might be serial killers next door, and they're called the Klopeks. And one of them is played by Brother Theodore, who is an eccentric comedian who voiced Gollum in the original 1977 The Hobbit. And I still think he's the best voice for Gollum. Sorry, Andy Serkis. I just think Brother Theodore was better. But the movie, it really just centers around these neighbors trying to figure out if their neighbors are serial killers. And it's so funny because a lot of the things you're used to if you grew up in a neighborhood, not so much the serial killer thing, but just the neighbors getting used to each other's little idiosyncrasies. And I've got some neighbors that live near me that are just a little bit different at times. And I'm sure they think I'm kind of different too, because I'm recording videos at midnight. But it's got a just, I'll give you guys a little bit more background on it. It was shot completely at Universal Studios, which makes sense because the entire movie takes place in this neighborhood. And they said it was very tempting to try to take it outside the neighborhood, but they kept having to tell themselves, no, the movie needs to take place in this single area, which is fairly unique for movies. Maybe something like Rear Window might do that as well. But usually even movies that have an area where they take place, they like Castaway and stuff, they still diverge away. They still go somewhere else during the movie. Not this one. The entire thing's shot in the suburb or inside their houses, and that is it. So that part was pretty cool. It was shot very quickly. They had to change the setup because Leave It to Beaver was also being shot. The redo version of Leave It to Beaver was being shot on the same lots. They had to come in and set everything up really quick, shoot, and then take down, set up, shoot, take down. And so that's pretty impressive. The music is fun. It's done by Jerry Goldberg, or is it Jerry Goldsmith? Jerry Goldsmith. Sorry, Jerry, who also did Alien and Gremlins, and he does a lot of little homages to Patton and The Good, the Bad, and the Ugly, and some other film scores in it. So that's pretty cool. Some of it sounds a bit like Gremlins as well. So it's fun in that regard. And it's just got I think it's got some laugh out loud type dialogue in it. Like they become so paranoid, and Tom Hanks is great. Bruce Dern's great. I just think it's one of those comedies that, yes, it's weird. It's a bit clunky. It's not always paced correctly, I don't think. The ending's not fantastic, but those moments are so good in it that I think it's worth watching. Carrie Fisher's great in it. This is one of the last ones before, you really saw her decline physically. And like I said, Tom Hanks is great. So originally, this is not really a spoiler, but originally the main character was supposed to be killed in the movie. And then they realized when they had Tom Hanks that they can't kill off Tom Hanks. So they changed it. They had 3 different endings. None of them did well with the focus group. And so they ended up going with a 4th ending, I believe. And it's okay. It's not great, but it's okay. It wraps up all right. So those are my thoughts on the main parts of it. It has some little winks and nods. I almost said ninks and wads. Winks and nods towards some other horror movies that are pretty good in it. And it's just a fun movie. I'll say it's fun. It's not a great movie, but it's fun. I think everybody should watch The Burbs from 1989. Let me know what you guys think. If you've seen it, if you like it. It scores a 6.8 on IMDb, which I think that's a little low. I would give it maybe a 7.2, 7.3, somewhere around there. Not necessarily that you should own it. I own it, but not saying that you should own it. But I think everybody should check it out. Usually if movies are over a 7, that's where I start saying, yeah, they're worth watching. I think this one's definitely worth watching. So those are my thoughts on The Burbs. I hope you guys saw my fun trailer for The House of Kamala, which is not actually a movie coming out, but it was fun to make. Check that out. I've been trying to put some other videos on here to kind of keep the content coming for you guys. Like I said, I've got books coming, at least 3 original ones, and I'm doing some illustrated versions of some public domain stuff. And I don't know what order those are all going to come out in, but the first one should be coming out September 30th. So I'll let you guys know when that as they say in the biz, drops. So let me know what you guys think. If you're okay with me doing this straight out of the studio like this, not doing the green screen or anything, it definitely makes it so I can do them more often because it's a little bit more streamlined. And so those are my thoughts on 1989's The Burbs. As always, if you would like to support the channel, our Venmo is in the description. If you want to make a donation or request something, I will do the review for you guys. I'll do movies, music, board games, you name it. We'll check it out. And so I'm just getting the outro video ready here. And so that's what I've got for this live stream of Should You Watch The Burbs. I'll see you on the next episode of A Blind Guy's View. Laters on the Menjay.
Laters on the Menjay.
Ships on bigger of the waves are skimming barren summits to the verdant plains. Each horizon is a new beginning.